I'm gonna put that in my video.
You need to clean your mirror.
What's up guys, it's me, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a movie review, or basically my thoughts on the movie BirdBox. So me and my mum watched that literally just before I'm filming this video. So I've written down some notes in my book, positive and negative, and then I'm just going to tell you my overall view of the movie. So before I start this, I just want to say that I definitely recommend it because it's one of the best movies I've seen so far. But obviously I'm just going to do like a breakdown of the different points that I liked and disliked. I just want to say that there's obviously spoilers involved, so if you haven't seen this movie then obviously don't watch this video because you don't want to find out what happens during the movie. So at the beginning of the movie, I really enjoyed the drone shots. There were just a few little ones at the beginning, but I really enjoyed them. They were so pretty and it just like showed the different landscape and everything like that, and that was really good. Something else that I also like is that Sandra Bullock was in it, and I think that she's like a really good actress, so obviously she's going to make the movie a lot better. I also like that you see the birds in the box, which is obviously a reflection of the title of the movie, and that was quite a good way of how they named the movie. I also like that the beginning of the movie was either a flash forward or that is the present, and then the rest of the movie it just goes back and forth of how things that happened in the past and the things that are happening in the present time. I also really like that Sarah Paulson was in the movie. I've seen her in a lot of other good shows and movies, for example American Horror Story. I know that she'll ultimately make the movie a lot better. I also like the little relatable conversation that Mallory and her sister have in the bathroom when Mallory's throwing up.
Are you puking?
Just go to the car.
Is it chunky?
No, it was actually the really smooth kind that just shoots out real clean. Let me get the car, okay?
That was quite a relatable scene. I also like how the scene cuts straight to that woman in the hospital trying to smash her head in on the glass, and everyone is freaking out about it and they don't know what's going on. I also like that the chaos breaks out quite quickly, so there isn't like a really long build up about it. Obviously there's like stuff about it on the news and everyone running around and that, but it's not really obvious that there is something coming because it just comes straight away. I like the fact that you can't see what everyone else sees, so their fears or the creatures or whatever, you can't actually see it, and you never do during the movie actually, and I just really like that. It gives a lot of suspense to the movie and it makes you question it. One thing that I didn't enjoy is that they literally had no scratches or cuts or anything on them after they had a car accident, except when Mallory had all the cuts on her hands after she'd obviously put her hands on the glass or something like that. It's just not really realistic. I also didn't like that the sister dies because I think that she would make a really good contribution to the rest of the movie, but obviously in the flashbacks or flash forwards you see that it's just Mallory and the two children, so you know that she actually dies and that everyone around her dies. There is also a scene after Mallory's getting trampled on by everyone where she's told to keep her eyes down by Tom.
Keep your eyes down.
And I find that quite like, because how is he supposed to know that you have to keep your eyes down? It literally just started, but you know, he might have had like intel from other people or something like that. So something else I liked is that John Malkovich is actually in this movie, so I've seen him in other movies and he's a really good actor, so obviously he's going to make the movie a lot better. Something that is kind of annoying is that the phones don't work. That's kind of cliche, and then sometimes they do work and it's kind of just like, they could have made them that they do work sometimes, because it doesn't always, just because people killing themselves, it doesn't mean that the phone lines are going to go down, you know? I like the suspense that you don't actually know what the thing is and what the creatures look like and stuff like that. I really like the flashbacks and the flash forwards and stuff like that. I think that's a really good way to show like how everything is different like later on in the times, and then how she's gone from this time to this time and what's changed. I don't like that John Malkovich's character Douglas is actually a nasty person, that he doesn't want to help people, he just only does things to help himself, and he just doesn't care about what anyone else does as long as he's okay. I also like that the movie included LGBT because the character Greg was actually gay, because it's told many times that he had a husband. So Greg actually died, and obviously I wasn't expecting that to happen. I thought that you would be able to see them through the monitor, but ultimately he does die, and that's pretty sad. Another thing is that the character Olivia, when she's pregnant and she's talking to Mallory, she says that she wanted to call her baby Ariel or Jasmine, and she would have liked to call her Cinderella and then just call her Ella, and that doesn't really make sense to me. Why would you want to call your child a Disney princess? Like, I get it, oh, they're a princess, but I don't know, that one's a bit not for me. Another thing that's pretty annoying is that Lucy and Felix, they talk about getting together. Well, Felix does anyway, and he's like, wow, the world is gonna end anyway, and she's like, no. And then basically in the next scene you see them banging, and it's just like, just make up your mind, honestly. Another thing is that it was really sudden that that guy had attacked Mallory and her children, and obviously that came as a shock to me, and I didn't want her to die, so I was full of suspense in that situation, but ultimately she does kill him, so that's all. I also really liked the idea of blacking out the windows in the car. That was actually a really clever idea. In the car, when they're driving to the supermarket, Charlie tries to back out, and I think that's something that someone would do, but it's kind of cliche on the part of like all of the movies that are around this kind of genre. There's always one person that has to try and back out, and ultimately nearly ruins the whole thing that they're trying to do. Another thing that is kind of wrong on the movie's part is that when they are going to the supermarket, Lucy actually shouts out hello, and everyone tells her to shush, and then after that they're all shouting to each other across the supermarket, and it's kind of just like, don't be a hypocrite. Another thing is, it's so obvious that Mallory and Tom are gonna start flirting, and then they're gonna get together or something like that. That was kind of annoying, but they're cute together, so I don't care about that. Another thing that is annoying is the thing that Douglas says is, it's better them than us. That is honestly, I really do not like his character. That is just so stuck up of him. He just doesn't care about anyone else, but you know, there's always going to be people like that. I also really like the use of the birds, that they use it as kind of like a detector for the creatures, so they start going mental when the creatures are around, and then they can ultimately get to safety. Something that I didn't really like is that Charlie dies, and he's the main reason that they got to the supermarket and are able to get in and get food. So I was actually quite upset when he died. To be honest, I actually find Olivia's character really annoying. She just says weird things, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just, I don't really like her character. It's kind of not my type of person. One thing I don't like is that Mallory actually drinks whiskey that Douglas gives her while she's pregnant. Also, Lucy and Felix steal the car, which I think is really selfish, and honestly I hated that so much. I felt so sorry for everyone, even Douglas. I actually like the twist that you get the impression that the boy and the girl aren't actually Mallory's children, as they call her Mallory during one of the scenes, and you get the impression that they aren't actually her children. Also, the girl, she leaves the boat, which is really annoying, but I mean, kids will be kids, so you can't really blame her for that. And anyway, she lives because Mallory saves her. I also like that the old lady saves Gary, the man who comes into the house when Douglas is trying to kill him, and I think that was a really cute thing to do. And I like the twist that you find out that the little girl is actually Olivia's child when she gives birth to her, and I find that it's really cute that Mallory actually keeps her with her. So when Douglas is actually trapped in the garage, I really like how the whole atmosphere changes. Like, they're all listening to music, being happy, just talking to each other, where it was a lot duller when Douglas was around. I really didn't like Gary's character, because as he stayed at the house longer, you find out that he's actually one of those crazy people. He's actually really weird. Like, he brings out the drawings, he does weird things, puts the birds in the freezer. It's just, I don't know, he was a weird person. It was kind of annoying that Olivia and Mallory both had their children at the same time. I find that really unlikely, seeing as they were both expecting to have their children at very separate times. So that was kind of a bit I really liked that Mallory's character actually saves Olivia's baby when Olivia tries to kill herself, because in the beginning she actually doesn't really care about her baby, but then she goes on and tries to help Olivia's baby, and I found that really cute. Even though I didn't really like Olivia, I was actually quite sad when she died, and obviously the old lady who saved Gary, even though he was a bad guy, she dies as well, and I found that pretty sad as well. And as much as I really didn't like Douglas, I was actually pretty sad when he died, because I didn't want anyone to die, but all of them except Mallory and the 2 children had to die inevitably. I really like that you actually found out that Tom killed Gary, because you don't actually find out before, because all you hear is a gunshot. You don't know whether Gary's dead or Tom is dead, and I really like that Tom was alive. After the 5 years, I really liked that Mallory was not having a go at Tom, but keeping it real with the children, like just calling them girl, just calling them boy, and not telling them all these like extravagant stories about how they're going to go outside and play and have fun and friends and stuff like that, because there is a high chance that would not happen, and I find it's good of her not to make their expectations high. But I mean, it is kind of over the top, like at least give them names or something, like, yeah, maybe not tell them stories about how they're going to have fun and that, because they might not, but just give them names. I really liked that Tom told Mallory and the children to go out of the back door and that he would distract the other people. That was so cute. I obviously hated that Tom died, but we knew it had to happen. I also like the twist that you actually find out that the boy is actually Sandra's son as well, but she doesn't actually tell him that he's their son. She just treats them both like her children, but they don't really know her as the mother because they call her Mallory. I was actually pretty surprised when they all survived the rapids. I wasn't expecting them to. I was actually expecting one of them to die, but I was actually quite glad when they all did. Right at the end, I was actually really surprised it was a school for the blind, but I thought that was really clever because I never actually thought about that blind people would actually be immune to this creature because obviously they can't see, and I thought that was really clever. I also liked that her midwife was actually at this school and that they meet up together and she sees that she has the children and she's really pleased with her and that was really cute. I also find it cute that Mallory actually names the children. Obviously the girl is Olivia after her mother, and then the boy is Tom after Tom. And that was just really cute how she named them, and she just grows to love the children at the end. Then lastly, I really enjoyed that she said, "I'm your mother."
And I am your mother.
And that was, honestly, that was so cute because at the beginning she says that she doesn't really want her child, and then at the end all she does is love these children. So overall, I really enjoyed the concept of the movie, like how they had to use blindfolds or they would be eaten by the creatures, that the children actually survive, and it's the children's reason that she is probably still alive because she's so motivated by them. And I really liked the flashbacks as well, so you could see that it was just Mallory, the child Olivia, and then the child Tom that are still alive, and you don't actually get that sad about the other people's deaths, so it's not sudden, you know that they're gonna happen. But one thing I didn't like about the movie is that you don't really get much intel on who these crazy people are. Like, is there a specific reason why they can see outside, or why they don't have to use a blindfold, or is it just like a random selection of people that are able to do that? But other than all the negatives about the movie, I really enjoyed it, and I recommend anyone who has Netflix or anyone that can stream movies to watch this movie. It was such a good movie and I really enjoyed it. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys want me to do movie reviews, I'll carry on doing them. I thought I would just try this out to do something new. If I enjoy editing this video as much as I did it watching the movie and then writing about it, then I will be sure to make another one. But obviously it's based off of you guys, what you want to watch. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.